Well, hello everyone, I'm Dr. Stock and this video is for entertainment purposes only. Today I'm talking to you about, we got a price upgrade, we have a little bit of news affecting one company, and I think that also leads to maybe filling out those end of year price targets that I was talking about for one of those companies. And then we also have just a little bit of exciting news. Concerning one company with maybe some legalization where it comes to online sports betting. So I've talked about all three of these before. One of them, not so much coverage. The other two, definitely a lot more coverage. So I want to get into each of those, talk about the news that's surrounding them, the price target that we have out there, and I just think that it's a lot of really good information. So I hope that you stick around for it, and let's get ready to rock. Welcome back. For those of you who are interested, check out the description down there. You'll find the link to my Patreon. By going over there, you get access to my portfolios, which I just tossed up my crypto portfolio up over there. It's a small guy, but he's a grower, and it's definitely, I think it's going to play out very well in the near future here, and then I think it's going to continue to do well over time as I build that out. I also have my growth portfolio and my dividend portfolio. You can check all those out along with my weekly newsletter and weekly watch list of stocks. And then I also have my private Discord over there where you can engage with my community members. They are just a really awesome, passionate investors that are just looking for ways to increase their financial status and really reach towards financial freedom. So if that sounds interesting to you, check out that Patreon. Also, Webull, Moomoo, those referral links are down in the description. It's a nice way to support the channel by supporting yourselves as well. So sign up, deposit your money, and get your free stocks, and then I get free stocks for the referral. So that's absolutely awesome. And then finally, cover up your eyes. Tap around your screen till you find that like button, and then subscription button and notification bell. Those are the other two things. You should also go ahead and do those so you can see anytime that my videos come out, and some of them are time sensitive, and other ones, you can sit back and ponder for a little while. This is all information for you to help with your research and your due diligence, so you can just take some of my perspectives into consideration, and just remember that it is not financial advice. So let's move on from there into the stocks. Alright, so the first stock that I have for you is DraftKings, and DraftKings, as of yesterday, closed just under that $60 mark, and I believe that it's just waiting just a little bit of while. We had the market sell off, and DraftKings was not immune to that and went right along with it. We peaked at just over $64 per share recently, but if I zoom out more, you can see that we were all the way back at $74 per share when this thing was at its high, and that actually lines up pretty well with the current 12-month price targets of about $72 per share. So we have significant upside from here to there. It's about 20% over the next 12 months, and I think that we'll see that a lot sooner because it doesn't seem as though the market waits for those price targets to actually come to fruition. So I think that we'll see that accelerated, and also some other things that cause me to think that it's accelerated is that the NFL season, I think the DraftKings is going to do phenomenally well in NFL and collegiate football. I think that we're going to see a lot of interest, and we're going to see a lot of transacting users and active users on their account, and I think that they stand to benefit in really big ways, and they keep on spending to make sure that they are the market leaders. So they're using that money from the stockholders very well, in my opinion, to stay on top in online sports betting. So the news today is that we have Louisiana, who legalized online sports betting back in 2020, but they did not launch it yet in the state. However, I have this highlighted here for you. I know that Louisiana State Police Major Chuck McNeil and his entire staff are working overtime to get this up and running. Hopefully we're going to have some good news very soon. So that's awesome for us. And if we scroll down, you guys can check this out. This is on Action Network. Let me scroll up for you. There's the heading so you can see what it's called. And down here, we get some of the partners that are eligible for that online sports betting, and you can see DraftKings is among those listed on this, and there are a lot of big names that are here. FanDuel's on here, Caesars, MGM, Barstool Sportsbooks, and then down here there's other sportsbooks that are mentioned. So there's going to be a lot of competition in Louisiana, and this is not specific to DraftKings. However, it should help out DraftKings. What we really want to look for in Louisiana across all other states where online sports betting is legalized and when DraftKings is there is how they're positioned relative to the other companies. And while I don't have time to go into depth on that on this video, it is something that I think is a really good subject for a future video, more of a deep dive into DraftKings and how they are performing so far and how they're expected to perform. Moving on from there, we'll go on to tip ranks, and here you can see 72.60 is the average analyst estimate, representing a 21% upside from its price at around $60 per share, and that's about where it sits during the pre-market right now as well, is about $60. So 20% gain over the next 12 months, and I think that a lot of the risk has come out of DraftKings stock. The risk that we have is mostly out of the competition that's out there, but there's also that forward fundamental value that we're looking at and seeing how DraftKings takes all that revenue that they do bring in and eventually translating it into the bottom line. So that way there's a lot of shareholder equity going on right now, and or going on in the future, I should say. So that's something that's anticipated for DraftKings, and forward looking, that's what justifies this high valuation that we get in the company right now standards. Looking forward from here, we get these higher prices, and DraftKings, I believe, is one of the market leaders in the online sports betting space, and I think that their high popularity is just going to continue, especially with their acquisition of GNOG, and then even more so with their simple bet. I think that's something that's really going to be a revenue driver for them. Let's move on from there. I want to take you guys over to Matterport, and as I called this before, I called this Meet Kevin's baby, because if it wasn't for Meet Kevin, I probably wouldn't have heard of Matterport. So I really like the work that he does. I think that he puts a lot of perspective on overall markets, and you can see the run that Matterport has taken recently. So they build 3D models of structures throughout the world and then digitize them so that people can go through and use it for real estate sales, insurance claims. There's just so much to what they do, and it's been a while. I'm going to have to go back and see where they're at right now. I know recently their earnings didn't come through as spectacular as people had hoped. However, we are getting this price action because the company is heating up, and I think that they are going to be leaders in their own space through sales of their 3D camera that they have for capturing spaces. And I actually had somebody in my channel last time that I talked about Matterport report to me. I said, how long does it take you to do a room? And they said, I think they said 5 to 10 minutes. I'm gonna have to go back and look in the comments and see what they say. So 5 to 10 minutes to make a 2-scale 3D model of a room and looking around those spaces, and that's translating to higher sell prices and quicker sell times for landlords and real estate agents. So to me, that's awesome. To me, that creates demand, and also for insurance claim purposes, facilitating that process and making that smoother and more streamlined. Those are also very marketable things in my opinion. So I think there's going to be a lot of demand for Matterport, and you can always search Meet Kevin Matterport, and you can find out a lot more of the in-depth analysis that he has. But I'm glad that I took a position in this, and my cost basis for this. It's hard for me to want a dollar cost average because I got in at such a great price. It's hard to think about paying more, but I was in at under $12 per share. I purchased several times when it was down at 10 or 11. When we saw this dip happen down in here, I thought that it was time to really load up. I was really looking for anything under 13, and I'm glad I did. It's paid off handsomely so far, and I'm getting close to that 2x space. And the reason that I bring this up is that Matterport just recently from WEDBUSH got a $26 price target, representing about a 23% upside from its current price. So while a lot of that value has been taken out by the recent run-up, there's still a lot of value ahead. And we have a 5-star analyst, Dan Ives, and when you look at his track record, he has a 76% rate of success. So 3 out of 4 times he's correct, and you can see it's not a small amount of ratings. This is over 300 ratings that he's put out there, and it has almost a 37% rate of return. So as a matter of fact, look at every analyst that's covered this. They're putting us all between $20 and $26 per share, and Dan Ives absolutely carries a lot of weight based on his credentials and his track record. So, and I really like this price target, and that's going to make a lot of people excited, and we're going to get that price pop going along with the Matterport stock. And I think that this is just over the next 12 months. I think this is one that can build out over years, over digitizing more spaces and more demand for their services, and I could see this moving on wildly from there. All right, the last stock that I have for you is Lucid, and when we look at their price action that they've experienced recently, we've got a nice little jump in their stock price, and even into the pre-market today. Let's bring it down to the intraday times. I'll do the 30-minute chart. You can see this run-up that we've had, and we had a very late volume into the close yesterday. That volume spike matching almost what we had to open the market, so you can tell that that's big news. They got officially rated at 520 miles in a single charge for their Lucid Air. So I believe that's the Dream Edition, the one that gives you the extended range. So that's something that that you want to check into. However, that beats out Tesla's top distance battery by like over 100 miles. I think it's like 115 miles in rating over it. And so that 25% more mileage, like people, one of the headwinds that we have for Lucid is, you know, there's a lot of competition out there already. You know, how is it even going to penetrate this market? Well, I think that this sort of competition, that sort of range coming along with their vehicle is something that I think is going to be a big driver for competition, that people are going to want access to this vehicle that doesn't have strict limitations on just how far it can go. And I think that we move beyond that in EVs in general. I just think that this is another leg up for Lucid and is causing some momentum into the after hours and then also into the pre-market this morning. And there's probably going to be some profit taking. So if you watch this after the market's already open and you see a price drop back down to about $21-ish per share, I wouldn't be surprised. If we go back out to the daily chart, we can see a little bit more about resistance. So I have a line of resistance here, which is about where the 50-day and the 200-day are meeting, and that's just coincidental based on these other lines that I have from these areas of support that were down here before, and we fell through that. Now it's resistance right around 2250. So we could settle around that number, or it's possible that we move up to that 2442 with it. I think would be a little bit strong for price action right now. We do have their production preview coming up on the 27th, the week of the 27th, and that's also when I'm anticipating that we get production updates for when they actually plan to start production for real for 2021. So hearing that, I think, is going to be the big driver that puts us up at a solid $25. And I think also seeing that production take place and seeing the demand for their vehicles and seeing that progress play out, I think that we end 2021 around the $25 mark. And that's something that I've been saying, and we can see just on this sort of battery news, you know, we have a little pop in price that I think solidly puts us over 20, but I think that move up to 25 takes the actual production in order to get there and stay around there, and then watching how their production plays out through 2022 is where we see that 25 to 30 mark take place. Over on tip ranks, you can see right now they're saying the 12-month price target of 23.33, and one thing that was cited by Adam Jonas here, I believe, is the competition. Not necessarily that Lucid is going to put out bad vehicles, but I think that part of this reason for that $12 is that there's just too much competition in the space, and there's not enough demand for luxury electric vehicles to really merit the sort of valuation that Lucid's getting. So time will tell if he's right or not. I'm a little bit more bullish on it. I think that they're going to do very well in the EV space, and I think that there will be lots of demand coming out for their luxury vehicle, and over time, I think they actually start at about $74,000 or $75,000 for the base model Lucid Air, and I think that that goes up well over $100,000 for their top-of-the-line model, and I think people are going to be chomping at the bit to get it, and I think that we're going to see that demand play out, and I think that, I'm going to side with what John Murphy has to say here at that $30 price target over the next 12 months, and that could be updated for me. I tend to go on the conservative side. I know some people are saying much higher than that, even twice that, $60 by the end of 2022, and for me, I would just like to see a little bit more news come out for a little bit more certainty through the end of 2021 and possibly even into the first quarter of 2022 before I put my name on a higher price target than $30 per share. So let me summarize. DraftKings, I think DraftKings is going to do incredibly well in the online sports betting space, and Louisiana news is just a little bit more icing on the cake for online sports betting in general. They are on that list, so that means that's another state that they have potential to show their leadership and really flex against all that other online sports betting competition. Matterport, I think that Matterport is growing rapidly, and I think that they are leaders in their space as well, the 3D modeling that they do, and that there's already been promise shown for their product and that there's already demand for their product. It's just a matter of expansion from here. Will we watch that play out? And the analyst who put out the $26 price target, I believe that was Dan Ives, he believes so, $26, so about 20-ish% upside from where we're at right now. And for me, just seeing it over $20 per share, as long as it stays over 20 in the short term, now mind you, I'm a long-term investor in it, I will continue to hold my position in dollar cost average, even though I grudgingly want to do so because I absolutely love my cost basis, but it'll grow better over time for a stock that continues to grow if I also continue to put my investments into those strong conviction plays that I have, and there's always a risk that I'm going to be wrong, but I think that this is a pretty solid play. Thank you, Meet Kevin, for suggesting it, and I'm glad that I took the time to look into it. Finally, Lucid. Lucid, I think, ends the year at $25 per share when they hit production and people actually start getting Lucid in their hands and we start hearing from the everyday person driving the Lucid. hearing their reviews of it, I think is going to make it, and I think that they're going to absolutely love the experience. And then into 2022, I think that we're easily at that $30 mark over the next 12 months, and I'm absolutely willing to adjust that depending on the production and the orders that we get. And I'm not going to be surprised if I do upward revisions on that over that $30 per share over the next 12 months. So thank you guys for stopping by. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. Check out that Patreon link down in the description. Also, don't forget about Webull and Moomoo. You can sign up, deposit your money. That gets you free stocks from each of those. I get free stocks for the referral. It's just a nice, easy way to support the channel. Even easier than that, keep your eyes wide open. Press that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell to see anytime that my videos come out. Thank you for support. Even if it's just watching these videos all the way through, I really appreciate it. I'm Dr. Stock. Thanks for rocking with me. Now go get that money.